Hi there, and thanks very much for tuning in. My name is Myron Salant, and you're watching the screencasts from mazblog.com. Today's screencast is more of a tutorial than anything, and I thought I'd like to introduce Mac OSX to the newcomers to Mac or anyone making the transition over from Windows. Today's tutorial will look at the basic interface of Mac, we'll look at the menu bar and items at the top, the general working area, and of course the dock at the bottom of the screen. You will be able to download this tutorial in HD for future viewing, should you want to. Just follow the link at the bottom of the article and you can watch the tutorial at your leisure. So let's kick off by having a look at the top menu right at the top left hand side here. And the first item that you're going to see is the actual Apple menu. Now the Apple menu contains various information about the Macintosh that you've purchased. It also has some options to do software updates, and it also allows you to purchase additional software directly from the Apple website. It has a link to system preferences, which we'll cover once we start exploring the dock. It has some dock options. These are shortcuts to tweak the look and feel of the actual dock. Recent items, it'll give me a list of applications and documents as well. I have a force quit option. Should an application hang, I can use this particular option to quit that program and not cause further system hang time. I have my sleep, restart and shutdown buttons, and obviously the logout button, and I'd obviously want to use this if I was in an environment where I didn't feel leaving my laptop on would be the best of things to do but needed to log in again. Now you'll notice the icons sitting next to some of the menu items here, and these are simply shortcuts that you can use on the keyboard to action the actual menu option. So for example, if I wanted to log out of my MacBook, I'd simply hit the Shift key followed by the Command key followed by the Q key. We hold these all together and hey presto, you're logged out. Finder is Apple's Explorer, and Finder functions in much the same way Explorer does, except the functionality seems and also appears to be a lot better. As you can see, I'm scrolling through the folders currently on my home folder, and if I wanted to delve into the documents folder, I just double click in and away we go. On the left hand side I also have some options in terms of shortcuts, and these let me navigate quite quickly to any areas of the computer I need to be in. I have devices, so for example if I had to plug my iPod in, it would show up over here. The places obviously have the desktop, there's my home folder, the applications folder which contains all the applications that Mac pre-install and any applications that you would install, and obviously the documents root folder which we were just in. Having a look below that, we have the search for items, and obviously it's quite self-explanatory. Items searched for today, yesterday, past week. Mac will gather all my images, all my movies, and all my documents should I click the relevant folder under the search for. Having a look at the right-hand side of the top menu bar, there's some applications that are currently open over here. I'm not going to touch on all of them, but one of the main things that we will be touching on is something called Spaces, which Leopard has worked into the actual operating system. Spaces are virtual desktops, and it allows me to switch desktops quite easily using a keyboard shortcut or using the menu at the top here to free up another desktop so I can work more productively. Next to that I have the Bluetooth insignia, the Wi-Fi, the computer's volume, the actual battery life. It is a MacBook. You can see there that it tells me the battery is charged. I can have a look at the time. Well, it won't give me the time because it's currently plugged in, but you catch the drift. Date and time I can view as analog, digital, and I can also change the date and time preferences and settings. Next to that I have Spotlight, which is a very powerful search tool built into Leopard. That would really require a screencast in itself, but next to say that if you type in what you're looking for at the top there, you will find it. Having a look at the desktop work area over here, this is pretty much the way Leopard will look once you start your Mac up for the first time. By the icons at the bottom here, as you can see, I've added some custom programs that I like to work with. Very easy to navigate around the desktop. All the icons traditionally from Windows are now placed on the right-hand side as opposed to the left. And it does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, you really don't seem to notice the difference. One of the new things that a new user for Mac would notice is that there is no more right click. And to do this, you'd simply hold down the control button and instigate a mouse click, and there you have your right click equivalent. So I've just created a folder there, and if I'd like to clean it up again, I'm going to right click by holding control click, and I can just go and clean it up or arrange it by name, and there we go. It puts it nice and neat on the desktop. Should I ever want to delete this, it's a matter of dragging it down to the trash, and that's it. To empty the trash, I'd simply click on the trash icon, click the spin wheel, and I'd click this particular option, which would empty the trash for me. Having a look at the dock, I currently have magnification turned on, so it provides a nice GUI interface for me, and it also tends to impress a fair amount of people. So let's open an application. We'll open Safari. This is the Apple web browser. As you can see, while it decides to load the page, the desktop area has been taken up. So this is a good time to talk about spaces. If I need to run another application and I need to have full view of what's going on, I can very quickly switch to another desktop by using a shortcut key on the keyboard after enabling spaces. And if I do that now, you can see that I have the terminal running on space 2. And I can instigate any one command or any application here, let it run, and then simply pop on back to the web browser on space 1. And you can actually see, if you have a look at the top here, the numbers will change as we switch between spaces. So let's get rid of this. Okay, so back at space 1 and back to the dock. We obviously have all of our applications sitting at the bottom here. If, for example, I wanted to remove Messenger, it would be a matter of dragging it out into the desktop area, and away it goes. If I wanted to re-add that, I'd simply move to the right-hand side of the dock, click the Applications folder, and do a search for Microsoft Messenger. There it is. I'm going to drag it back onto the dock, and hey presto, it's locked in. I can resize the dock quite quickly by using the shortcut key here, and that's just a matter of drag and drop. Obviously, the next thing that I'd like to have a look at is the system preferences. System preferences control the way Mac looks, feels and responds to what you do. So for example, we have the personal settings. These are just would be a matter of preference in terms of how you'd configure it. All new Mac users should familiarize themselves with a couple of things, namely the security section, and under the hardware section, the energy saver, especially if you're running a laptop. This is where you'd configure your resolution, your displays. Trackpad, nice tricks brought out in the new MacBook range, and that is multi-gesture. Internet and network options, system options, and any other programs that you might have installed that would require them to be under the system preference tab. So I hope that gives you a decent introduction to the way Mac OSX Leopard functions. I hope it's been a valuable resource, and just a reminder that you can download this tutorial again should you need to watch it at your own leisure. Simply follow the link at the bottom of the blog. Thanks very much for watching.